Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are back here with now Tropical Storm Rafael. I know I haven't made a video at all on the tropics, but it's been a while, and since pretty much Oscar, that was a surprise hurricane actually, really not showing up on the models, but it did had some support in the background stages. And I had a feeling maybe just a tropical depression or storm, but I didn't expect a full out Cat 2 almost hurricane. So that was pretty impressive there with Oscar, and then weekend after making landfall on Haiti and all that, but caused some damage, did all that. That was our 10th hurricane. Rafael could be our 11th hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season. So we are continuing to move forward here with the Atlantic. And I mean, this ain't the only area we are watching out. Besides Rafael, we are watching another area maybe for the Bahamas. Later next week, we can have another area of low pressure. Try and maybe spin up. This one, you know, I don't want to say it won't become a hurricane because you just never know. This hurricane season has been extremely weird, and anything that we've said that wouldn't happen or doesn't look like it would happen, it happens and be a bigger thing than it had to. So, it's one of those things that is a bit more on we have to wait and see type environments. Um, if we continue to look here, let's wait for my pen to come out. Um, if this wants to work. And yeah, you could definitely tell we have our area of disturbance right here. This one's going to be moving like this into the Bahamas. I do think that this one has a chance to become a tropical depression and maybe even a tropical storm. And we will have to see what happens if this does go up the East Coast, or does it just die off, or does it go out to sea, or does it maybe try and combine with Rafael when it enters the Gulf. That could be another thing. And this ain't the only area we are watching out for. There's another area that that is eyeing some people, and the GFS has been showing it. And the GFS actually has been doing a pretty good job this hurricane season. I will have to give credit to the GFS more than the Euro. The GFS has been really on point this year with this Atlantic hurricane season. Whatever was fixed into the GFS actually really worked this year. No of those nonsense hurricanes. I mean, maybe something now of a nonsense hurricane going on with these runs, but it's been pretty good overall this year, and that's because we have a wave and a couple Kelvin wave out in the main development region, and this could actually try and make it to the Caribbean. And there's some suggestion on the GEFS ensembles and the GFS model of maybe another tropical system trying to develop in this area and do something whack. Um, that I'm not even worrying about. If the reason why I'm not worrying about it is because we have to get through this system and Raphael. Once we get through these two, we'll start looking at this one if it is a concern. But yeah, pretty active start to November here. Our first tropical storm in November could be another one and could get our first hurricane of November. So yeah, the Atlantic hurricane season is continuing to move through its last weeks left, and that is very important here. So I know we are. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please leave them down in the comment below. We are just trying to spread the word here of the Atlantic. I know it's been a while. We are trying to see how things go. So now let's click on Raphael here and let's just watch it all play out. And let's actually read the public advisory. I'm looking for the discussions at 1 p.m. Yes. So, no. So, they do say steady, rapid intensification is expected during the next 24-36 hours. So, I think that's actually pretty true. That we are about to be having some steady, rapid intensification. Maybe not rapid intensification, I wouldn't say rapid. But is there a chance that this does become a Cat 2? And is there even a chance this does run for 100 to 110, maybe even 115 mile an hour storm? That's like the highest ceiling, and I do not even see that as of right now. But we will have to watch, alright? Rafael is beginning to get better organized, I will say. If we look at microwave imagery here, so I did not have everything set up, but we're gonna slowly but surely take on with these tropical systems. Probably be like a 30-minute live stream. I've been sick lately too, and with sore throat, strep throat, so I'm not trying to use my voice too much, just in case if I need to use it later. But there it is, this storm, and yeah, you can definitely tell we have a pretty good eye wall feature actually developing here. Look at that, a nice eye wall feature, and then we got this nice banding right there, that curvature in the microwave imagery. So that's really impressive. This seemed like it was a little bit old as of right now, so probably more into an eye feature. But definitely on microwave imagery, a better and better structure as of today. Let's quickly Okay, let me just quickly get this around here that I am streaming. Okay, you guys. 1 second. Giving my voice a second too, because I do not want to keep destroying my voice. But alright, now we are through. Oh, my bad, you guys. I'm telling you, my voice is really messed up right now. But that was the latest on the discussion. We look at the graphics. We have some important graphics here. The rainfall total. Yeah, and pretty interesting. If you guys are in southern Jamaica, yeah, you guys have seen quite a lot of rain. 4 to 6 inches of rain, maybe local spots 6 to 8. Wouldn't be surprised in those mountain regions. But as Rafael continues, the Cayman Islands, yeah, they even saying it. In all of the Cayman Islands, yeah, 6 to 8 inches. And there's a local spots, 8 plus. So that could be 8 to 12 inches. So locally, a foot of rain. We'll be looking on the models and seeing how much rain they're forecasting. Even southern Cuba could be getting 2 to 4. Along the coast, 1 to 2. Where this could make its secondary landfall or third. Yeah, 6 to 8, and then maybe even 8 to 12 right along the coast, and then 4 to 6, and then a little bit more inland, 2 to 4, and then a little bit more off the coast right there. That's because of all the rain. And they do say local spots in these mountain regions over here, 4 plus. That's because of the mountains. So more of the mountains. Local 6 plus here in Jamaica. That's the rainfall total. The peak surge right now, nothing really to deal with. Maybe 1 to 3 feet. That's because where Rafael is going is more like this. Its flow is like this. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have maybe some in the Keys of some rough surf. I can see that, but nothing really in Florida. It will have to be a dramatic change in the direction of the storm to change all that. The warnings right now, we do have all of Western Cuba. Western Cuba under hurricane warnings. Even a bit of Central Cuba, besides the inland part, it's hurricane warnings. The Cayman Islands under hurricane warnings. We do have tropical storm warnings, tropical storm watches, tropical storm warnings over here. You can tell right, this is how the wind field is. So if this does keep on its path and goes something like this, you'll be seeing more of the hurricane force winds on this side actually. It's pretty interesting, even this side too. There is some reports I've been hearing about some deaths already. I don't know how true that is. I'll try and get back to you on that. I am kind of waiting on seeing what is going on here. In part of that. Wow, and oh wow. And speaking actually on that, we'll talk a little bit more on that GFS, showing a potential tropical system coming out of the Western Caribbean and entering this way, because I'm getting some more information as I keep reading my Discord. More things keep coming in that, yeah, GFS is actually might be on to something, because the favorability for that next system is actually quite there, and it does have an MJO with it, so a lot more convection with it. So that's very interesting. Maybe 1, 2 more names left, you guys. Looks like November's not gonna end without a fight. All right. We go to the warning and cone. Let's go through this. This is as of 1 p.m. Yeah. So by probably later tonight, Category 1 hurricane by they say 7 p.m. So I could definitely see by the 7 p.m. update, this is Hurricane Rafael, with gusts up to 90. They're saying right now gusts up to 70. That's why I kept this as 994. then they do think that this will strengthen to an 85. I do think this could actually strengthen to a 100-mile-an-hour storm. I wouldn't be surprised. And maybe right before landfall, stronger category 2, but this has it as a 90, so it does have it making landfall potential as a 90, stays at 90, actually, holds 90, and then drops to 85, and then weakening from an 85 to a 70 to a 50, so some pretty decent weakening. And we're gonna have to really see what's the reasons for all that. All right. All right. Good news is they do have another mission going out for Rafael. I don't think we'll be live for it though. But I am gonna say satellite imagery is looking better and better on this actually. Speaking of that, let's go to the let's go to the satellite imagery. Rafael. Let's look at this. Oh, wow. So, Rafael is looking better and better. I'm not going to lie. I think this is most likely going to be a hurricane by the... Oh, yeah. Definitely a hurricane by the 5 p.m. update. Wow. We might... Alright, this is a thing here. We might go live tonight. Okay. If this video can do pretty good, and I think I will go live either way. If my voice is good, if my everything goes well, we might do a live tonight on Rafael. Alright. But one thing I'm saying we might go live for is look at the evolution of Rafael in the last few hours. We have really noticed an uptick in that inner core. I mean, very, very impressive too. Rafael might be going under some rapid intensification soon. Okay. According to future radar models that I do have. And these are actually pretty accurate, and they do get these hurricanes right. Yeah, some pretty intense strengthening, I would say, into a pretty strong... I would argue maybe a Cat 2 hurricane, Cat 3. I mean, look, we're really noticing something here. Much more convection, like always, but like where the let's get this out of the way. But if we really look at this, yeah, look. We got the banding features wrapping like this. This is part of that inner core. But look at that. We're starting to see that convection wrapping around on this side. And we even have a bit of convection wrapping on this side. So if more and more convection can continue to wrap around that inner core, we really could be seeing a drop in pressure like we just saw from a 994 to a 990. And I think that's why they're getting a new recon out there to see if this is under rapid intensification. But a lot, and then you can tell, yeah, we have a nice feature band up here trying to develop. We got a lot of these new bands trying to develop on the southern side and western side. Really, they're reinforcing that dry air that was trying to sneak in earlier. So we are on the way of potentially some pretty fast strengthening here. A landfall here would be somewhere along here. I would say right now we are. I would say right now for landfall on Cuba, we'll look at that. Actually, we can start looking at that on the models. All right. Only one watching right now. Not the best stream. Any question? Let's look here on the Western Atlantic. Let's get this look. So this is the GFS. This shows at 992 as of 1. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that quite a bit. I think GFS been doing pretty good on that. I can definitely see this. It says by 7 p.m. a 987. I would argue maybe even deeper in the pressure on the GFS. I think the GFS has been doing a very good job. Then it has a drop into 982 by 1 a.m. at 978, 977. I can totally see this, a category 2. Alright. Making landfall in the shortest parts of Cuba. And what I'm saying to that is because of this. We have it will probably be about 10, 20 miles across if it goes in that short way. So it will really not disturb the core too much. Unlike going in a 50 part of the way. Then coming out as a 980, still a Cat 1 hurricane. And then 981, 980, 981, 980. So kind of holding its strength. And then you do, actually, let's get this done. Wow. So you do notice that, I will say that another area of pressure, that's the other secondary low showing up on the National Hurricane Center that does become our next tropical storm. This will be our S-name storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. This goes pretty close to Puerto Rico. And then this becomes a pretty strong tropical storm while Rafael is over here strengthening or withstanding its strength. This kind of rides this. We'll have to watch that. We'll have to see conditions for that. Then Rafael starts weakening a little bit. Why does it start weakening? And that's a really good question. Probably because of some dry air. Because shear on this, you really don't see too much. You see maybe a little bit right here where I'm making an arrow. But more of the shear is just up here. This is good ventilation mode in the model. So I don't know why it really weakens it. I would say probably because of dry air. Alright. Yeah. Dry air does it. So kind of dry air stops it from its track. So what could help Rafael here is if it has an eastern shift. If this can kind of go a little bit more northwest and kind of then go north and get picked up, that'll probably be the best for the system. Because all of this dry air, we have a cold front here in the United States with this dry air out ahead of it. And as this keeps moving this way, this dry air is moving this way. And while the dry air is moving in the direction of that, we're having Rafael moving this way. So you see what I mean, what's going on here, why it's weakening? It's because we got dry air pressing against it, and we got Rafael going right into it. So it's kind of a die situation. It's kind of killing the storm. Rafael's kind of killing itself. Okay, so that's one good explanation because there's really no wind shear that I can see, but it does stay a tropical storm. It does make landfall in Louisiana as a weaker end tropical storm. We'll have to see where this does, but yeah, kind of does that. And then yeah, you could definitely tell this storm kind of stays a tropical storm into the Bahamas, then weakens into depression. Why does this die now? And that reason is the wind shear. The shear is not the most conducive for this system, to be honest with you. Shear's actually kind of pressing against it. I mean, yeah, we have a cyclonic thing here, but you kind of got wind shear blowing in this. You got kind of wind shear blowing across because of Rafael. So that kind of means this system might not even develop. Now, I'm not talking about Rafael. I'm talking about the one near Puerto Rico. And then you can kind of tell it gets teared by wind shear from Rafael. Okay. That's kind of what happens with that. Then, yeah, looks like another favorability in the wave pattern. If you guys cannot tell here. Yeah. A lot of that cyclonic flow again here. With this upcoming wave here. This is Rafael. This is the leftover that. This is our next wave. And not good. Because the GFS does show maybe another system trying to develop. There it is. Our next wave. In the next, actually, this is not even too far out, too. By November 5th, too. Is November 5th, and you tell this does become I'm not even, you know, I'm going to risk it. I'm not, you know, no. All I'm going to say, take this all for granted, but it does show another major hurricane developing. This goes out to 240, all I'm going. Shows a Cat 5. I don't believe that, okay? It won't become a Category 5. It won't become a major hurricane. But there's a chance for another tropical cyclone. And then this kind of does this weird thing. Sits as a Cat 5. If this did become a Cat 5 in November, it'll probably be breaking some type of record. And then it just crushes Jamaica as a Cat 4. A Cat 4, Cat 5. And then goes through Cuba, Haiti as a Category 3. Bahamas as a Category 3, Cat 2. And then it exits way on and then dives. Okay. But if we go a run before that, remember, it did not see that at all. This is one run ago. And, I mean, it did see a tropical cyclone, but much more weaker. And then it becoming a hurricane. And then an actual major hurricane, then doing this weird loopy-loop. Alright? So, I'm not trying to get you guys all on that. Here. And this is Rafael on the Canadian. Kind of goes in the short wave of the passage. Once again, across Cuba. Goes into the Gulf. Kind of just weakens. And then makes landfall in Louisiana. Gets hit by the cold front. That could be some enhancer with that. And then it does show, Canadian does show another tropical storm, that tropical storm. And it actually has it making landfall in Florida as a tropical storm. Very interesting. So now we're going to take a look of, whoa. Why is the Canadian having a tropical storm out of this making landfall in Florida? Because that'll be a very interesting change in events here. Alright. So the 200 millibar winds, we'll be able to tell right off the bat. Alright. There it is. kind of little. It's kind of, I think, a little bit quicker. Let me look. GFS. Actually, no. It might be later. Yeah, it's a little bit later and a little bit more north, and Rafael's kind of already gone. So that's what happens. So Canadian seed's a little bit more of a better environment. Kind of keeps as a tropical storm all the way from Puerto Rico. Makes landfall in the Bahamas as a tropical storm. And then makes landfall near Miami as a tropical storm. So, maybe another tropical storm. But it doesn't really show too much anything with that Caribbean system, I shall say. The Euros 12Z. This is the brand new one. We see a strengthening system here, a strengthening hurricane. Kind of crosses Cuba and actually strengthens. Stays in the southern parts of the Gulf. This has been a very interesting trend too. That if there's no